Do we want that light on?
Yep.
No.
And you're live.
Oh, we are live.
Yes,
look at me. I'm just sitting here smiling. Hey, guys, welcome to Novak News. Tonight, we're talking about absolutely nothing to do with real estate, but we have invited on the show a really good friend of ours, a really, really phenomenal travel agent local to the Northern Beaches.
Colorado Plateau.
All the way from Colorado Plateau. We've got Julie HATZ. Jules.
Hi, Dal. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. Julie's a virgin to Zoom and to videos, so we're going to be really kind. I said to Jules, just relax. It's just like having a chat. You'll be fine, and you absolutely will be. But listen, travel has just been, oh my God, Jules, it's been a disaster, like, hasn't it?
A train wreck would probably be the best way to put it.
Number one for train wrecks, I reckon.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Through COVID-19, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're talking commerce here, like obviously health and wellness and hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's one very and more important thing. But when we turn our focuses to business and to commerce, travel seems to be, Julie, the really, really uncomfortable topic at the moment.
Yeah, it does.
How bad's it been, Jules? Tell us.
Oh, look, I think for most of the industry, if they're earning any money at the moment, making bookings for people, it would be a sheer miracle. I personally, as well as most of my colleagues, are working probably longer hours, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, at the beginning, initially going into damage control, just trying to get all of our clients back home that were stranded everywhere else.
You were working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day before, but you were making money?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You're not making any.
No.
It's not funny. It's actually, it's diabolical, right?
Yeah.
It's diabolical. Tell me, Jules, I mean, and this might be a bit of a silly question, but were you prepared at all? Like, how do you prepare for this sort of stuff?
We actually had our annual conference, and funnily enough, it was squeezed in and went ahead just before and just as COVID was starting to come into play. And the body heads of our industry, which is one of the main ones being AFTA, and you'll see them all over the news at the moment trying to counteract the things you're hearing that are misleading. They actually were coming back from international meetings, trying to just give us an idea of how hard this was going to hit. And knowing with something like this, we knew that tourism and travel would be the first area that would be in trouble, which clearly it was. And so, we knew it was coming. We didn't know to what extent. And to be really honest, I mean, I've been doing this for 28 years and I can't fathom the position that our industry is now in. Like, there's a lot of people that are just trying to work out how they're going to recover from it. It's like I say to anybody, to me, travel's like a reward. So people will travel again. It's just a matter of how long, you work so hard, you have to have something to look forward to. And usually that's a holiday or a trip.
When is the big when? When
can people travel again? Do we know? Because there's so much speculation. Some people are saying there won't be any international travel until July of next year. Domestic travel might be looking likely for the end of the year. What's the truth?
At the moment, the talk is that they're looking at opening up around June, July, essential travel domestically and corporate travel domestically. Nothing set in stone. It's just kind of what we're hearing, along the grapevine from people in the airline industry, people in the wholesale industry, obviously what you're hearing, from the government. But in my opinion, I think what will probably happen is that I think, June, July, they'll look at doing essential travel and corporate travel domestically. We're only talking domestic.
Are they half full planes? Like, how do you do social distancing in an aeroplane?
Yeah, well, what they're saying is they can actually separate people. So the way that they allocate people on the roads, and also
first class seats.
Sorry, Dal?
In first class seats.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's when the travel agents, I think, need such a well-deserved break. We'll have to go on and sample them first.
Oh my God, I think, the way everyone's feeling at the moment, we almost We feel like it's been stressful. It's the time when people need a holiday the most, right? It's the time when we're just not able to have one.
Yeah.
And for obvious reasons, you know, obviously there's a lot of economical issues as well that's going to impact it.
Absolutely.
Australia's going to do pretty well out of this in terms of domestic travel. Australia, like I would imagine, Julian, you'd be a really good gauge of this, but I'd imagine the next 12 months, I think that, you know, in order to support our economy and in order to support local, I think a lot of people are going to choose to jump in their car and go for a drive or jump in a plane and go local, because I know certainly for us, we've loved travel. That's been something we've tried to give back to our kids.
We've loved cruises.
For doing the
I know.
5 of them. I don't know.
But not
I just said
interested.
before we came on, I said, I don't know if we'll be getting on another cruise again.
And you will, look, you will. And it's like, you know, it's like you get on there, Mark's saying no, yes, you will. I will guide you back on. But it's like anything, it's just building that confidence again that it is safe to go. And, you know, it will take a little while. And, you know, once the floodgates are open for domestic, I do think that the domestic market, I mean, we live in a beautiful country and there are so many places to see.
And we're so quickly, you know, happy to book a ticket and go overseas. But I reckon, like, to go around.
Oh my God! And you know,
go around Australia.
You know what's crazy? No.
Yeah, Lisa looks at me in a special way. Just yeah.
But you know what's crazy? You know, we actually do love to jump in the car and go travel around Australia. And the amount of times we've driven somewhere like the Great Ocean Road and we just feel stupid because you get to these amazing places and think, how did we not know? We've traveled across the other side of the globe, right? So I do believe that there is going to be a lot more travel around Australia.
Orange's going to go off.
Yeah. Jules, I've got a question. I'm interested to know what happened to the people that booked holidays and flights and like, you know, were there cancellation fees? Like, did they get credits? Did they get their money back? What happened there?
Straight for the jugular.
Yeah, I love it. So this is the question that's flooding, obviously. This is flooding the media at the moment, as you know. Yeah. So, you know, this, and it's very hard. Obviously, I feel very passionate about it, but the misleading information that is out there is, you know, detrimental to the travel industry. Yeah. People have this misconception that, you know, we are holding on to clients' monies, which, you know, gives me a bit of a laugh because you can't hold what you don't have. So the reality is, you know, you make a booking, you know, we will do the quotes, endless quotes at times, without charging. And then we will go ahead and secure it once you give us the go ahead. The monies, when you pay your deposit, are actually passed straight on to the wholesaler or airline to secure your booking at that price. Then what happens is you've got a certain period of time before your finals are due or your balance. We then pay that. You pay that to us, and we then pass that on to finalize your booking.
That's called a shit yourself period for a short time. I know very familiar that period. That's when Julie rings up and says, "You got to pay." You're like,
yeah.
You can't. How much is on that?
That's when I want 5 and 6 different credit cards to just put it through. Yeah.
It didn't work. Can you try that one? We're there. Yep.
But look, that's also the flexibility of having someone look after you who is a travel agent and not an online agent as well. So there you go. Somebody who knows how you operate. But Lisa, to answer you, like, we then pass it all on. It's all paid. You know, we then have something like COVID-19 and, you know, you have to cancel. We understand that. You know, we had to cancel. I was traveling myself in July to Hawaii, looking forward to it, had to cancel. I'm in the same boat as everybody else. So I become the client and the agent.
So the money is dependent on whatever the airline, the hotel, the cruise ships, cancellation policies are. So what I've noted, because we had a few trips booked for work, and what I noticed was they're holding that money in credit to be used, I think, you know, generally within a 12-month period.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
So you have options though, and this is what people don't realize. Like, as I said, it's the concept that we're holding their money. So basically, the airlines and some of the wholesalers, the policies are changing daily. So we're just getting flooded with information. But the reality is some of them are giving refunds and some of them are giving credits. They realised how much money they were giving back, realised they couldn't come out of this well. So a lot of them have now said, no more refunds, but what we would do is extend your credits. So instead of giving people 12 months, a lot of them are giving you up to 2 years to use those monies.
Is that a credit for dollars or is that a credit for the trip?
That's a credit for dollars. So you will actually, for example, if you get a full refund, as I said, that money comes back. Obviously, the thing on everyone's tongue is the cancellation fees, but our commissions as agents are paid by the wholesalers and airfares. So when you're jumping up and down going, I want my 100% refund, our commission lies in there, which is for the 6 months we worked on your booking before you went, plus all the quotes, plus all the changes, plus delivering your documentation, plus working for you again to get your money back. So that's why a lot of agents are charging cancellation/booking fees for the services rendered. If the money goes in credit, right, which a lot of people I think are better off doing, if the money goes in credit, there are no cancellation fees because you're holding that money there. So the wholesalers, for example, if you booked a trip to go to Thailand with Qantas Holidays, for example, they will hold that money with them. If you then go to rebook, you don't have to go back to Thailand. You might go somewhere else that they sell as part of their package.
So random question here. Say, for instance, you booked to go to Hawaii and you paid $1,000 return, and then we're allowed to fly in July next year, let's suggest. You go to rebook again. Do you think that these flights, the costs of airfares are going to go up significantly? I don't know if that's a hard question to answer, but in your opinion, what do you think? We were chatting with some friends about this, and they were saying, airfares are going to go up by double.
I think they are going to go up personally. And again, this is my personal opinion because this is how I see it from as a business owner. You've got all these people now that have taken credits. Okay, so the airline's basically holding money in the kitty for you. Then you've got the other half of the clients that have asked for their money back. So again, the airlines and the wholesalers are getting slugged. So they're just running at losses. They're bleeding everywhere. So you're then going to go and rebook, and they're going to say, okay, it's X amount of dollars, and you're going to say, I have a credit. So they're putting you on at that time for free. Okay, then you've got, because you paid ages ago, and they've also now given money back to other people. So when the new people come on and they've got half the aircraft empty, they're not going to be giving them, I don't believe they're going to be giving them heavily discounted flights because they're going to have to make some money somehow to stay afloat.
They're half full. And not only that, but they're saying Virgin potentially going bankrupt. Like
they got saved.
I'd really want to get my money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Virgin is standing by their credits. Virgin are standing by their credits, and also there is a lot of, like, the way our economy runs, and even just in Australia in general, like, we can't run on a one domestic carrier basis. Like, it just wouldn't work. And this has been the sole thing of what we keep listening to and what the feedback we keep getting is that there are a lot of people that have gone into bat for Virgin, and I believe that they will come through this. Because we really do need, that platform of competition. It's healthy between the two airlines.
100%.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's much like a real estate agent who manages your property. You don't realize how important that property manager is in real estate until you really need them, especially at times like this, right?
Yeah.
Where we've got to negotiate rents and do all that sort of stuff. And it's much like you in travel. You don't realize how important it is to have a travel agent, because most people think, I can just go online, I'll book it myself, go book my flights through Webjet, jump onto bookings.com and book one. You don't realize until times like this, the value of having a great travel agent.
Good
wife.
Good wife, the same.
Well, that goes with but you don't realize, and the thing is that in my last life, a long, long time ago when I was a travel agent. And, I thought that all these years later, however many years that is, that I could potentially do all of this myself. But the amount of times, Jules, you've bailed us out, we've needed to change flights, book trips at the last minute, do all that sort of stuff. The value of having a travel agent, and it costs you absolutely no more.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. And people don't realise, people think that it costs more, but it doesn't.
You must pay more for a travel agent.
No, because you take your commission from the hotel or from the wholesalers, or
correct.
Not from the client. A lot
so
of people
if I really hunted,
that.
would I be able to get it for less? No. Yes.
Sorry, what was that?
If I really hunted to save money and not go through a travel agent, surely I'd have to be paying less.
Hang on a sec. If you really hunted around for a cheaper property manager, you could probably find one, or a cheaper commission agent, right? It's the same thing. You pay for. You're an amazing travel agent.
Thank you.
100% you do. No, that's around. Jules, what are you doing now to help people?
Yeah, well, this is what I was saying earlier. So we are literally, like, I'm working more now than I would generally work. And it's just, every agent is different. But again, being my own business, like I really do want to get the message across to people that we are here to help. So I have a lot of people who have got stuck, or they've come to me quite embarrassed because they know me and they've gone, we've booked online, we need your help. And you know, with a giggle, I've actually gone, okay, what's happening? What have we done? You know, a perfect example is, you know, I have a client who had booked flights for her mother. And, you know, she came out from South America here to visit the family, and then COVID kicked in and she was due to fly back right in the middle of right at the end of March when things were really heated, and her flights got cancelled. So, you know, the online agent was not answering the emails. There was no phone number. This woman was stranded, couldn't get back to South America. So I managed to get onto the airline, and just knowing who to talk to, we got her return trip put into credit to use at a later date. And then this client thought that once the fares were available in the system, they kept going online again, still didn't learn. Went online again, saw that an airline, LATAM Airlines, opened up some flights back to South America. So off she went again and booked a one-way return flight for her mum to go back. And, you know, unfortunately, within a couple of days, found out that the flight was not going ahead because airlines are just cancelling them. And that one was a bad one. And then the embassy flew her back complimentary anyway. So now we're trying to save the money for 2 tickets that were booked online where there's no one for them to talk to.
For people that are trying to get refunds or claim credits, and I know, you know, we were, you get onto like a live chat, no one answers, an email, an auto response comes back, you know, and ours wasn't urgent. I can only imagine if you're stuck, it is an emergency. It's just horrendous. Tell me something. Are planes flying? They are flying. At the moment, there's a lot of repatriation travel as well. That's probably the biggest thing that's going on. And it's just getting everybody home. And that's home to any country. One of the main airlines that seems to be doing a lot of that is Qatar. But yeah, it's getting people back into Australia, getting people back into all of their other countries, and being accounted for.
And they're still putting them in the hotels?
Yeah, they are. They're going into quarantine at both ends. Yeah.
And Jules, when people are flying, like say they're flying home, what do those airfares look like? Are they normal or are they?
Yeah, look, they're actually quite reasonable. I mean, you'd expect to pay a little bit more, but they're all right. Like, I haven't come across any that I would have really looked at and gone, it's absolutely ludicrous. Yeah. Like, they've been okay.
And are you on the plane on your own? Like, it'd feel like you're almost on your own private jet, wouldn't it?
They're not. They're nowhere near full. Yeah, no, no. And there's been a lot of, as I said, the main thing is repatriation flights. So as you can imagine, you know, there's not a lot of people on them, but they're just getting them home.
I don't know if you'd be relaxed. You know, you'd be sitting there with your mask on. You'd be too scared to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think it'd exactly be very relaxing.
No.
Does that mean that you're not making any money at all?
No. I personally, like most of the industry, I mean, we've got no new bookings. And as I said, we don't we make a booking, we pay the deposit, we pay the balance, and it's not until you either finalize your booking, and depending on what package or airfare you have, whether it's when you finalize the booking or when you actually depart, that we then get paid.
Because
so, yeah.
two things.
Wow.
First of all, since we've been sitting here, I've been hit under the table 3 times.
Oh, no, not from Lisa.
Can I tell you why?
No,
I don't know what he's playing with something. It's driving me nuts. He's like playing with something.
It settles me in my nerves.
I love you guys. You know that, don't you?
I said it's just going to be normal. Like
have you noticed every time we do a live, I've never hit you under the table?
I would
never. Zero. I reckon I've copped about maybe 50, 100 under the table.
It's like a little knock.
Remember, Mark, happy wife, happy life.
Back to what I was saying, most importantly. So I know people are up travel agents a little bit with their airfares, but they're talking to someone who's not making an income at all in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So you get it. You're compassionate just as much as you're hungry. You're just as hungry as these guys. So I think we've got to understand that as humans that. Yeah. And part of tonight is loving a local, people that we know in local business on the Northern Beaches. We're talking about travel. We're talking to our favourite travel agent, Jules, and that that is someone people are after their airfares, but they're talking to someone who hasn't made a buck for a very long time and doesn't really know when the next buck's going to turn for them either. So heart goes out to not only people that haven't got their airfares back, but to people like you, Jules.
100%.
Thank you.
100%. Jules, tell me something. Where would you recommend, like when we're all allowed to sort of start traveling again? Likely, as you said, it's going to be domestic travel.
Yeah.
Where would you recommend?
Yes, let's
I think
here's the thing, because obviously people are mindful of either people don't have the money to spend or they're mindful of spending money at the moment. So have you got like some cheap little getaways?
Let's go around
Australia.
Mark wants to do the RV. Yeah. I think that's good for Tasmania. Yeah. Look, I think all jokes aside,
can I show everyone just what we're actually laughing about? We did an RV in America.
Do I look like an RV sort of girl?
Absolutely. With all the bells and whistles, Lise. Yeah.
We're gonna get shot. It was fun actually.
Lisa says, "What do you want?" And I said, "Can you please get the largest RV that we can drive on a normal license?" She goes, "The largest RV." So we turned up to the caravan park, and this is the RV that Lisa hired, the biggest RV that you can get in America, and not be on a truck license. So
it's coming. We'll find it. But Jules, in the meantime, while Mark's looking for that, where do you reckon? Where's a couple of really good spots?
I think the biggest thing people need to look at is if they want adventure or if they want flop and drop. Like they're kind of the two things that I say. So, if you're wanting that adventure trip, I'd say Northern Territory, Tasmania, and hire a car, drive right round. Otherwise, if you're wanting that flop and drop, you can't really go. For me, if you've got kids, Queensland's a good option. You've also got the other side if you go down, over to Western Australia. But I love the islands personally. I think, tropical North Queensland, Cairns, Whitsunday Islands. Yeah. And there will be, there is always packages. People don't realise. People underestimate, like we said, domestic. There's the RV. Love it. National Lampoon's Vacation.
Home for 9 nights.
That was 10 nights, 3,000 miles in that little puppy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
30,000 tons of shit.
And New Orleans, remember New Orleans was amazing, yeah?
It was unreal. Little did we realize we had to eat dinner at Costco every night because we couldn't park it anywhere else. No, it was fun. So Queensland, Whitsunday Island.
Yeah, I would say Queensland, Whitsunday. But Tassie's a great destination too. If you've got a bit of time and you want to drive, absolutely. And like we all know and love, the Northern Territory, like we were talking about before. Yeah. But there's going to be packages. MTA Travel is, an independent, family-owned and operated company that we all trade and we're independent affiliates under. And they are part owned by Hello World. And they are constantly, especially now, working at bringing out a lot of brand new specials that will really, you know, entice the appetite. So watch my Facebook page because I will start putting them on soon. Yeah, but definitely don't stop dreaming travel. Just, you know, Australians love to travel, and, you know, we will travel again soon.
Oddly enough, not so much within our own country, you know, and I think it's going to change a lot.
Yeah, let's support the Aussies.
It's such a beautiful country. And, you know, let's not forget, guys, that before COVID, we had the bushfires. So these people, particularly in these country towns, they need us more than ever.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
They need that. They need that tourism. So it's more important than ever before that we are traveling around our country.
All right. So just from some of our viewers, Michael Edwards is recommending Tasmania.
Yeah. We got to give,
Tasmania.
100%. I reckon we've got to give that a go.
We're the people that wanted to separate from us when COVID got bad.
Oh.
Margaret,
good oysters, apparently.
Margaret River and Barossa Valley wine up from Luke Moroney.
There you go.
Mystery Flights from Ange Lagagianis.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a Greek name. Yeah.
Greek.
I remember the Mystery Flights. It's
yeah.
I'll tell you a really funny
story.
Can
you still do those?
I don't think you can.
No.
So you know what I remember about the Mystery Flights?
Mark, I can book for you, Mark, and I'll make it a mystery.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll send you anywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. But I remember my mum used to leave, my parents worked full-time crazy hours, and my mum used to leave my brother with money and say, look after your sister. And my brother would take me on the bus to the airport.
Listen to this.
I reckon I would have been 10 years old. My brother used to take me on a bus to the airport.
And watch the planes.
We'd get onto a mystery flight. Like in Grafton or, you know, Port Macquarie or somewhere, just for the day. We'd ring my mum from the phone booth and say, my mum, she didn't know that we were there and I didn't know that we weren't allowed to go. And my brother would ring my mum from the public telephone and say, everything's fine, Mum, just letting you know, we're just checking in. Anyway,
that's so funny.
But for years I didn't know, my mum didn't know. Anyway, a couple of years ago, we were just talking about it. And I said to my brother, remember we used to do those mystery flights? You'd take me when you were babysitting me. And my mum was like, what? What do you mean?
I think that's a babysitter everybody would want. Yeah.
They were so fun, those mystery flights though. They need to bring those back, right? It was cheap. They were like the standby seats. It was good fun.
Yeah, God, that was when I first started in the industry. It seems like so long ago now. Yeah.
Tell me, is it secure to book at the moment?
Absolutely. Look, every company is obviously different, but we are very well established. And again, having that partnership, you know, basically all of our clients' funds are put into a client trust account. So nothing can ever happen to that. It's secure. And having the backing and the partnership with Hello World, they're in a good stead. MTA was in a very good stead. So we're not going anywhere. We're riding the storm and we will come out the other end and, you know, yes.
Book on your credit card and your credit card company will insure you for your loss if it doesn't go ahead.
Yeah, there's talk of that at the moment. It's not 100% confirmed. It's very similar to the travel insurance that they've been talking about. So, you know, the travel insurance has covered a lot of people initially at the beginning. And then it became, at the beginning, and then it stopped. So it's just every situation has been treated quite differently. I think a lot of companies obviously needed to get to the point where they did have to protect and be able to still stay afloat.
Jules, I've got a question for you, a current affair.
Oh, it's a thorn in my side. Yeah. So you guys know me well. I don't talk normally. Sorry?
Rip it out. Tell us what happened.
So, they've been just, you know, hammering a certain company in the industry, which obviously it's not my place to talk about another company. But, you know, what that does is when they're talking about why should agents charge cancellation fees and how dare us, and we're ripping clients off, and this misconception that, you know, we've taken your money and we've hidden it in some offshore bank account. It's just, everything is just so misleading and so untrue. So I've been watching all the, all the broadcasting, listening to it, watching Current Affair, all of these programs where journalists are interviewing and putting people on there. And I haven't seen anything yet that's correct. So we had another independent business owner that put onto a Facebook page. I'm not quite sure how it got on there. But she obviously got to the point too where she watched a Current Affair last week and had enough. And she wrote into a Current Affair, and it was beautifully written. And then it started to go through the industry. It crossed my desk, and I couldn't not react to that. So normally I wouldn't, but I contacted this consultant directly, this lovely lady, and just said to her, do you mind if I put my spin on it too? Which is what you were saying before. I don't normally comment, but yeah, it was again, just me kind of trying to get the message out there that what they're delivering to, the Australian consumer is not right. And, it's misleading, and you can't be saying that travel agents are holding your money. It's like, it's a service rendered. You're not always getting 100% back. And if you are, it's like if you call the plumber and, your toilet blocks, and you call him and you pay him to fix it. Well, if it blocks again the next day for another reason, are you going to ask him for a refund? Like, he's provided his service. We're no different. Yeah.
And it's important that people are getting the facts. And, that's why we wanted to have you on here, because travels have been, so hard hit. It's actually so, but it's so hard to get the facts. And look, that's a big part of why we do what we do with social media. We're not reporters, but if like, we just feel that it's our duty to our industry and to anyone who watches us to just give them the cold, hard facts, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. Yeah. But people just want the truth.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, because we, and again, looking after you guys, like, I personally build my business on referrals. I don't market, I don't advertise, and I've built quite a good business that way. And it is about being honest with people and telling them the truth. And, we're here to help you. For me, ultimately, my best referral is your recommendation and you being happy, as is every other travel agent.
Yeah.
So, if we're working long hours, it's working for our clients to try and get their money back and make sure that they're given a fair go.
Yeah. And look, we can vouch for that. I mean, we've used you for years, Jules, and sometimes I'm ringing you from overseas going, help, we've got to get home or do whatever, and that's the beauty of having a travel agent, which brings me to what I wanted to ask you next. Online bookings versus travel agent.
Oh, you'd have to be pretty game to book online now. I mean, you're talking, you're dealing with a robot, like we said before, and you said it yourself, Lisa, like, they're okay when you're going along and it all looks fine and dandy and you get to the end and you click through the screens and put your credit card in and everything's great. Then you're either going to get hidden fees, or the biggest thing is nobody will get back to you when you need them. You'll sit on hold. I've had people sit on hold, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but it is true, for 8 hours.
I know, I believe
it. 8 hours. So in 8 hours, we've turned over, half of our clients' amendments and got back to them. And, and the other thing too is they tell you to email them. Nobody's answering the emails either. So people are really distraught because they don't have, it just goes back to that good old fashioned service.
And you've got all the tips and tricks and hacks.
I was just going to say that
have all the mistakes people have made, you've learned from and consolidated, and you can just go straight for the jugular and get stuff done. It's like with property management. It's the same thing with us. The amount people save as opposed to the mistakes that they make is just enormous. And the same thing through COVID-19, we've seen those cracks form, and it's just huge.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite real estate agent on the Northern Beaches?
Oh, Novak. Yeah. But it's about building relationships, to me, everything is about building relationships. And we go to our wholesalers and our business development managers and our sales managers and our sales directors and go, this is when we need you. And, you know, we know which strings to pull, like you said, and what favors to pull in when we need them. And they're helping us. Everybody, the whole tourism industry is working together in a way I've never seen. Everybody's pulled in together, and it's just it's a great industry to be in.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. And I've got to say, we've got that same camaraderie in real estate as well. You know, we usually, sometimes it can be a bit sort of, you know, dog eat dog in our industry. It's just competitive, I think. You know, people have really pulled together. People are helping each other, and, you know, principals are talking to one another about what's going on within their businesses and how they're running certain areas of their business. So it's been lovely to see, really lovely to see. I just want to say, Mike, just kick me under the table.
First one ever. First one ever. Time's up. No,
Jules, I want to say, you don't just do, like, you know, leisure travel. Obviously, you do a lot of corporate travel.
Yeah.
And that's the real bread and butter, right? That's the real
correct
business. So
yeah,
guys
correct.
out there that is looking for an amazing travel agent who works in corporate travel for when it gets up and running again, Julie's your girl. We've got a lot of people asking who is what your company name is, Jules. So give it a whack, and then we're going to pop it in the link as well, because we've got quite a number of people asking here.
Oh, thank you. So basically, I'm an independent affiliate, so I'm a sole trader, and I work under the umbrella of MTA Travel, which is Mobile Travel Agents Australia. So we are, independent affiliates. However, MTA Travel is an Australian-owned company that just celebrated their 20-year anniversary, and they are also in partnership with Hello World, which, you know, you'd all know as well, is massive. So the buying power and the rates are second to none.
Where can people find you? Is it your mobile or an email, or what's the best?
Yeah, so mobile, my website. 0405 966 819, or you can visit my website, which is mtatravel.com.au/jhatz, HATZ.
Oh, look at that. Ange has already put it in there. Ange is
Ange, thank you. But guys, look,
great compadre.
This is, I think, just to wrap it up, you know, the thing is that I think people are going to be going back now to using the good old-fashioned travel agent.
Yep.
There's a lot of value add there. There is no doubt about it. There's a lot of questions that people simply can't find on sites such as Webjet, etc. You know, and I think, you know, the value, as I said, you don't pay any extra for using your travel agent, but it's really at times like this when you need the travel agent that you realise the immense value that someone like you brings to the table, Jules.
And when everyone is running south, run north. My point is, I think it's a great time to support Australia and book a inexpensive holiday. Inexpensive because it's cheaper than what it was 6 months ago or 3 months ago. I think it's a great
and get in early, because this is the other thing too. Like, everybody's going to be doing the same thing.
I think the third quarter and fourth quarter this year is a brilliant time to book something to go around Australia, but I reckon you want to be paying your deposits in the next month, because I reckon the prices will end up ramping up.
Jules, we're going to give you some homework just to wrap up. We're going to get you to give us 2 holiday destinations, and we're going to whack them in here in this link, and we'll put them onto Novak social as well. So just 2, give us 2, if it's Ayers Rock or wherever it may be.
We want to go to Ayers Rock.
We want to go to Ayers Rock.
Absolutely.
We're going to get to Ayers Rock in July, and everyone who's been on our feed is going to be up there at the same time.
Sounds good. I can certainly put some packages together. And at the same time, look, if anybody out there that's watching is stuck and still can't get hold of, you know, their dreaded online booking agent, or just need some advice, I'm happy to help.
That's amazing. Mark's trying to give me bedroom eyes. All right, guys. It's been a very, very long day. Jules, you're a legend.
Thanks for having me.
Ever, best travel agent ever. We can testify to that, guys. Our travel agent. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Lots of love.
Listen, you rocked, by the way, for your first Zoom, your first live interview.
You're a good Zoomer.
Yeah.
Zoom. Zoom's very good.
Thank you.
Zoomage.
Thank you, Jules. Love you.
Take care. Bye, guys. Bye.
Good Australian holidays. See ya.
Bye.
Cool.